and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Hello and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Hello and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Film My Run on Zwift. My name is Stephen Cousins and we are broadcasting live on Facebook and on YouTube. While we're getting everything ready, it would be absolutely awesome if you could go and subscribe to the Film My Run YouTube channel and also the Zwift Live YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/filmmyrun and also Twitter at filmmyrun, and the website is www.filmmyrun.com. It's very nearly time, so sit back, relax, don't forget to drop me a ride on and watch me do all the hard work. Okay, good evening, welcome along. Now, the thing was, I thought I had a meeting today and I wasn't going to be able to take part, and it turns out I don't have a meeting after all. And I was going to run, but I ran this morning. I feel that maybe just doing another 10k might be a bit too much hard work in one day, so I'm going to leave it to Victoria. Victoria was going to run anyway. Paul Hayward says he's just made it. Trev Wilson says good evening, everybody. Kevin DeLuca, hello, Cousins family. Denise says greetings all, have a good run. Hello, Angela. Angela says greetings, I'm watching while working over in the USA. Clive Finnemore, hello. He says enjoy dinner for Tina, who would be watching, except it's dinner time. So she's going to eat her dinner first and then watch later. Do you want to say anything, Victoria?
Hello, good evening. I have a screen tonight, but I'm not allowed a screen tomorrow night when it really matters.
Exactly. But she's got a screen tonight. Look at that. She's going to turn something off. Hang on a second. Victoria is not wearing a Stride foot pod, so there's no point in having Stride power up there. Angela says, hi, Victoria. Greetings, Stephen. Denise says, hi, Victoria, as well. Paul says, hi, Victoria. Victoria is running tonight. I'm going to be in charge of chat in-game and here on the stream as well. What was that? Clive Finnemore said for Victoria. Oh, screens for Victoria. Yeah. Right, let me just do the hashtag. Kevin DeLuca, I imagine, is leading the run today. He'll be going at 10 kilometres per hour. Victoria's going at 9.5 kilometres per hour. There's a big group around Kevin at the moment, and they will gradually pull away from us. And then there's usually a little group a bit further back who run at 9 or 8 kilometres per hour. Paul Hayward, hi. John Free says hashtag screens for Victoria. Yeah, so she's got the screen today. But it's going to be the same tomorrow, I'm afraid. She's not going to have the screen tomorrow when it really matters. But I am willing to try and see what we can do. We have thought about this, and I have tried to find a solution. But we do need to be able to see chat from you guys. So it's a bit difficult to have so many different screens all at the same time. But we'll see what we can do so that Victoria can run the interval session tomorrow sensibly. I went out for 10k this morning, so I've done my run. I was going to run tonight, but at the last minute I've just thought, you know what, my legs are a bit tight. We did the marathon on Sunday. I've done 10k this morning. Let's not overdo it. We are training for a marathon in Paris in April. So I don't want to get injured early, do I? Let's just hang on and just build a bit slower. So there's no point in doing 20k today. So this is going to take us just over an hour. 10 kilometers an hour is obviously 10 kilometers in 1 hour. So 9.5 kilometers in an hour, and then another 500 meters after that. 1 hour and 3 minutes, something like that. Amy says it still hurts walking down the stairs. Exactly. And my legs were hurting yesterday, and actually it was Saturday was the marathon, wasn't it? But we did a 7k run with the kids on the hills in the mud yesterday, which was harder on the legs than it should have been because of the mud. And then I did 10k this morning, so my legs are still not quite recovered from the marathon. Paul Blake says the stride has me slower than the run. Let me just reply to that.
It's amazing how I can send messages in-game without voice to text, without touching a screen. And sometimes I send messages that I really wouldn't say. When Mr. C can stitch me up.
So I am here to chat. So if anyone has got anything they want to gossip about, please pop it in the chat there, either in game or on the stream. I'm watching Facebook chat, YouTube chat, and Twitch chat as always. But because I'm not running, I'm much more able to respond. I'll keep my eyes on the screen. I'm much more able to notice messages that are coming through. Kevin DeLuca says, start to be ready, guys. The first joke is coming soon. Somebody says, I'm already laughing. Oh, Clive, I'm already laughing in anticipation. Laughing or laughing? Right, Kevin has already worked out that it's me on the text and not Victoria. Hello, camera 2, by the way. Yeah, I am typing for Victoria. So Victoria will let me know in an instant if I say something that she wouldn't normally have said, by the way. Oh, right. Sebastian, hello. I can't see it. Your Facebook comments coming through. I might actually need to nip in. Stephen Davies says, hi, I had a question on treadmills. As you have a MyRun and a Noble Pro, what do you think the differences are? Okay. That's a tough one to say without... Right, the thing is, there's a huge price difference between... Well, there's a big price difference between the two. One is $2,000 more than the other. So what you're getting with the MyRun is a much more stable motor performance. The MyRun, when you run on it, as you know, I always go on about this, when your foot impacts the belt of a treadmill, the treadmill will slow down. And when your feet are both in the air, the belt will speed up to compensate for that. So your treadmill belt speed might say 10 kilometers an hour. Your actual running speed will likely be slightly slower than that. Now, it depends on the quality of your treadmill, how much slower that is. Now, the MyRun is very good. It doesn't slow down very much when your foot impacts the belt. So I'm fairly confident that when I'm running at 10 kilometers an hour on the MyRun, I am running at virtually almost 10 kilometers an hour. The Noble Pro, whilst it is a great machine, it's really solid, it's really dependable, the motor is not quite as strong. So when you run on the Noble Pro, if it says 10 kilometers an hour, you're actually likely running a little slower than that. And that's why it does feel a little bit easier to run on the Noble Pro. Well, in our experience, so in Victoria and mine experience, it's a little easier to run on the Noble Pro. Victoria's going to add to that.
So this is a non-technical explanation. I would say for MyRun, it's harder underfoot. It mimics outdoor running better than the Noble Pro. But the Noble Pro, for the money, you just can't beat it. And I've run on some cheap treadmills, absolutely hated it. I will happily run on either the Noble Pro or the MyRun. But like Stephen said, I feel like I'm working harder on the MyRun. The Noble Pro it feels softer underfoot. Would you agree?
Yeah.
But so it's all to do with, I think, budget. If you can afford a MyRun, get a MyRun. But then equally, if you could afford more than a MyRun, Oh, what's the Woodway? If you could afford a Woodway, you wouldn't consider the My Run.
Yeah, Paul Haywood also adds the My Run does do cadence as well, but the Noble Pro doesn't. So if you've got a Noble Pro, you will have to wear a foot pod for cadence, whereas the My Run does cadence as well. It has a sensor in the belt, in the deck, that will sense your foot impact as well. So Alfredo says at 20 kilometers an hour, less brake reduction. Yeah, the faster you go, well, I don't know actually. I think sometimes the faster you go, the harder your foot impacts, but also the less time your foot is on the belt. So yeah, it probably balances itself out, to be honest. Your foot will impact harder, I think, because you're running faster, but because you're going faster, your foot is on the belt for less time. So anyway, I don't know. John Free says Taggart Van Etten is going for the Zwift marathon record in March as part of training for the Olympic trials. Something to watch for. Yes, yes, we did chat about that with Taggart the other day. He is going to attempt to go for the fastest marathon. He messaged me and said, "Who has the fastest marathon on Zwift?" I wasn't entirely sure, but we think it's Adam Holland. It certainly wasn't me or Victoria. Paul Hayward says the My Run treadmills have gone up by £200 in price. Stephen Davies says, okay, thanks, that's great information, thank you. I hope that helps you make a decision. I guess it comes down to price at the end of the day. If you can't afford a My Run, then the Noble Pro is a great option. And of course, in the middle of those are the Soul treadmills. The 65, the 75, the 85, the 80, the F80, those are all really good treadmills as well. Pete Sangster says, I'm not sure I'm even the event. In the event, I see everyone. And his chat is coming through, so I think he must be in the event. Somebody asked what tomorrow's Paris session is. Trev Wilson asked, what's tomorrow's Paris session? It's quite a long one. Let me just find it for you and I'll tell you. Hold on a second. Events. Tomorrow. Right, Paris Marathon training tomorrow is the Michigan. It's the ultimate cross-country workout. It simulates a hilly, hard 10K cross-country effort. Whilst the Paris Marathon is generally flat, there are one or two short but sharp inclines to be ready for. So this session will help you with that. It's a 10-minute warm-up and then 5 minutes at 11 kilometres an hour. This is for me, by the way. Oh, no, this is if Victoria did it. So this is for Victoria. She would do 10-minute warm-up, then 5 minutes at 11 kilometres an hour, 30 seconds recovery, 5 minutes at 12.2, 30 seconds recovery, 5 minutes at 11, 30 seconds recovery. I'm not sure, actually. I think it might be, yeah. That's a good point, actually, Victoria. I don't know if this has elevation in it. I think it probably does, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, you've got to put the incline on. Clive Finnimore, in order to afford his My Run treadmill, he had to sell his motorbike. He says, but it was worth it. And his wife made up the difference as part of his birthday present. Quids in there, Clive. Oh, yeah, don't start that. Yes. Victoria says she assumes that Lucy knew that she was making up the difference. It just didn't happen to appear on her credit card statement. Wayne Briggs says, I agree with Victoria's assessment regarding the My Run. It feels more like running outside. Always get told I look like I'm running easy as I have a long stride. Do you think this will naturally shorten with more treadmill running? Yes, you will. No. The opposite. Treadmill running actually encourages a longer stride. So if you do your outdoor running and your indoor running, and then you look at your cadences, say you do a 10k indoors for 1 hour and a 10k outdoors for 1 hour, your treadmill cadence is likely going to be slower. Likely. I know that some people have a faster cadence on the treadmill, but in general, most people's cadence actually tends to be slower on the treadmill, Wayne. So just look out for that. So no, if you've already got a long, slow stride, I don't think treadmill running is going to help you get a shorter stride. You can try and force yourself to do it, because it's easier on a treadmill to force yourself to run to a certain cadence, because you've got less to think about on a treadmill. But no, in general, people's cadence is slower on a treadmill for the same speed. Jason Mitchell says, Noble Pro wins hands down in its price category, but as Victoria said, if you can afford a My Run and will regularly use it, it is a superior treadmill in comparison, and you do get what you pay for, says Jason Mitchell. Thank you, Jason. Of course, one other thing that the Noble Pro has that the My Run doesn't have, if you do want an all bells and whistles treadmill, obviously the Noble Pro Elite 8i does have a screen inbuilt that you can watch Netflix and YouTube and all those kind of things on. So if that's something that's important to you, hello Camera 4. Hi. If that's something that's important to you, then the Noble Pro does have a screen built in, whereas with the My Run, it doesn't have any screen. There's no bells and whistles. It's not a fancy, all singing, all dancing treadmill. The thing that you spend the money on with the Noble Pro is the motor. So if you want to look at YouTube or Netflix, you'd have to have a TV screen, like we have here, or your iPad or something like that. Yeah, the Noble Pro's got a little mini fan in it as well that blows a tiny amount of cold air onto your face, and once you've been running for 5 minutes, you forget that it's there. Happy birthday, Rob Mott. Just going to do some typing. Yeah, 50's really old, isn't it? No. Garmin. Rob Mott is 20 today. His Garmin says he's 20. Yeah, what is your fitness age, by the way? Does anybody know their fitness age? Mine's 43, apparently, according to Garmin. Let me know if you know what your fitness age is on Garmin. Yeah, Stephen Davies says he certainly can't afford the Woodway. The other way to go, Stephen, is a Precor treadmill, which is you get them from a reconditioned gym sale. So a lot of gyms, they have very expensive 10 grand treadmills, and they often refurbish their gyms and sell the old treadmills off at a much cheaper price. That's where a lot of people on Zwift, Dan Mapp, for example, John Hancock, Jonathan Cost, who else? A few other people I know have got their treadmills second hand as ex-gym stock. That's a really good option for a really good solid treadmill. Right, Clive Finnemore's Garmin age is 38 apparently. Kevin, can you advertise the Copenhagen Marathon and the Paris Marathon training for everyone? And just ask everyone to look out for the Paris Marathon and the Copenhagen Marathon training schedules for everyone. Just remind people that it's on. Kevin DeLuca's age on the Garmin is 20. Okay. Right, I'm going to look up Victoria's age. Right, Victoria says, Kevin, you only look 14. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or an insult. I apologise if it's an insult. Right, she says it should be a compliment. Okay. Who said that? Oh, right. Yeah, of course it is. Victoria, I need to add your weight. Right, got it. 41, Victoria. Yeah, I'll type that in. Yeah, 3 months before the Paris Marathon, everyone. Make sure that you are getting your training in. Loads of us are training for a marathon, whether it's the Copenhagen Marathon, the Paris Marathon that we're all going to, or another marathon. There's quite a few marathons happening now in April. Somebody just said Edinburgh half there. Sorry, Berlin half. Somebody else said Edinburgh Marathon here. Laura is doing Dorney Lake. Rotterdam Marathon for Andy. Yeah, so there are still places for the Paris Marathon. I don't know about the Copenhagen Marathon. Does anybody know if there are still places for the Copenhagen Marathon? Yeah. Nick Davis, there isn't a lottery for Paris. There isn't a lottery for Paris, Nick. I'm missing loads of chat here. Do you know what I said at the beginning of this? I could manage to look at everyone's chats, and I keep missing stuff. Alfredo, yeah, in the Garmin app. So if you go to the Garmin Connect app and you click on, where are we? Click on Health Stats. So you go to the Garmin Connect app, click on Health Stats, or click on More. Bottom right, click on Health Stats, and at the bottom it should say Fitness Age. Click on that. You might have to put your weight in or something like that. But yeah, then it'll give you your fitness age. So, hang on, where are we in this run? We are nearly 4 kilometres in, so we've got 6 kilometres to go of the MHG FMR ZLDR PACK Monday Club Run. Always well attended. I think we've got about 90 people running today. So it's really good. We've got a nice little group around Victoria. Kevin is leading. He's going at 10 kph. There's a big group around Kev. And obviously there are some people who've flown off as well. Kevin says we are a lot in Paris and Copenhagen. Come join us. Yeah, loads of us going to Paris and Copenhagen. So come and join us. If you're not signed up already, please get your name down. Go and sign up for the Paris Marathon. Get yourself a hotel in Paris and a flight or a ferry or whatever it is that you need to do. Come and join us in Paris. Theo Heldorn says, I'm doing Paris. Excellent. Jason Mitchell doesn't like what the Garmin is telling him. We worry. Does that mean that your Garmin app is telling you you're older than you actually are? The idea is, with people who run regularly, we should be younger than our actual age. But, I mean, who knows? Paul Deering says, my Garmin told me to expect a birthday card from the Queen soon. If you're from the USA or anywhere outside the UK, I think it still happens that when you reach 100 years old, if you manage to get to 100 years old in the UK, the Queen will send you a birthday card. And that is actually the truth. Paul Deering is expecting a birthday card from the Queen very soon. Clive Finnemore says his Garmin age is 7 years younger than he actually is. I can't remember what his said. What did it say for him? 30? I thought he was 50. Clive Finnemore's 50, isn't he? Yeah, no, he is. He's 50. He's 50. Don't tell me he's younger than that. He's 50. I've seen how he looks when he finishes a marathon. That's a 50-year-old if ever I saw one. Pete is going. Is that Pete Laporte? He's off. He's finished. He's done for the day. Oh, now I've lost my app now. There we are. Back on it. Oh, no. Pete Sangster is just leaving us. He's done 5K. He's done. Amanda says, nice one, Pete. See you soon. Jarrett says, bye, Pete. So tomorrow we're on 11:35 for the Film My Run 500. If you need some hill training, come and join us for the Film My Run 500, 11:35 UK time tomorrow, where we climb 500 metres of elevation gain by putting the treadmills at 12%. Don't worry, we go nice and slowly. And so, come and join us for that. And then in the evening, tomorrow evening, we have the Paris Marathon interval training session. It's quite a session tomorrow. It's an hour-long training session tomorrow, but it's still intervals. It's just that the intervals are about 5 minutes long each. So it's quite a lot. It's one of the longest ones we'll do. We have a series of 4 interval sessions, and we will rotate those 4 interval sessions over the next 12 weeks, 11 weeks now. Until the Paris Marathon. So come and join us. 6:30, same time as this run, 6:30 tomorrow evening UK time for the Paris Marathon interval training session. Trev Wilson says, I think my Garmin app is broken. Companion app says, right, Kim, don't get, I don't want to hear this. Kim Salt says the companion app says that the companion app says that Clive is 45, apparently. I don't believe that for a minute. Kim Salt says, my Garmin wants me to wear it when I go to sleep. Yeah, do you not wear your Garmin all the time? Right, who wears their Garmin 24/7 and who only wears it when they are running? Yeah, that annoying flickering light gets me every time. It's on Victoria's watch, though. It's Victoria's flickering light. My flickering light is all right. Right, let me just type something for everyone. 2, wears their running watch 24/7. So the Yellow Beacon group are at 5k now. Victoria is approaching 5k. She is 200 metres behind Kevin and the gang. We've got running with us. We have Paul Haywood there, Clive Finnimore, Sebastian Vaught, Adrian Moffat is just a bit ahead. Clive Finnimore, Jackie Ramos is running. Trev Wilson is running with us. So quite a few people.
So Clive Finnimore, he wears his Garmin 24/7, but turns the heart rate off to save the battery. But Stephen and I keep our heart rate on, and we can actually see if we're getting ill. So our resting heart rate will go up slightly, and that's usually before you start feeling a bit unwell. So we know to ease off the training a little bit. So that's a little bonus for wearing your watch 24/7. 1 year stress rate monitor, isn't it? It's always fun to see the stress levels go up.
But do you know what? If you delve into your Garmin watch, there's loads of useful little bits of information, and lots of new data points, metrics that you can get your hands on that are coming out all the time. So yeah, the latest ones are things like stress, and also respiration rate. So it'll monitor your respiration during an activity or overnight as well. How it can tell, it's how it can tell how much you're breathing or how many breaths you do a minute is mad. Paul Haywood says, from now on I'm wearing mine 24/7. Kim Salt says, I wear a Fitbit 24/7 as it's smaller for me. Yeah, that makes sense. John Farrell wears his Garmin 24/7. Love checking my sleep patterns. Yeah. You can say that again.
My Garmin is quite large compared to my wrist size, but I don't mind. I don't really notice it. I wear it 24/7. Yeah, I think I just get used to it. I've got, what is it, the Phoenix 6? Phoenix 6S. No, S for small.
Yeah, so it is that Phoenix 6 that Victoria has is supposed to be a smaller size for smaller wrists. But it is still fairly big. But yeah, Kim Salt says, I only wear mine when I run, as I have a very small wrist. Even the Phoenix Pro Small is large. Yeah, the S is large on her. Yeah, the only thing about the smaller watches, of course, is the battery is slightly compromised. If you've got a big wrist and you can wear a fat watch, you've got a much better chance of getting good battery life. Amy says she wears an Apple Watch. Yeah, well, that's definitely a 24/7 device, isn't it? Apart from, you have to charge that every day, don't you? Amy, do you have to charge your Apple Watch every day, and when do you charge it? Yeah, so Jamie Caesar charges his watch every evening before bed. So you wear it in bed, or do you leave it? You don't leave it overnight. You charge it in the evening before bed. Okay. Debbie Colville charges every day. Lee Dickens, I just record on Zwift and not on the Garmin as well. Amanda Allison does record on the watch as well. You never know when it's going to crash. Sorry, I haven't read this out on the stream. I just asked in the game, how many people record their Zwift runs on their watch as well as on Zwift? And yes, some people say you never know when Zwift is going to crash and you'll lose your run. So Amanda always records on her watch as well. Yeah, I mean, yeah, even if Zwift crashes, it will have recorded most of your run because it automatically uploads a percentage of your run every minute or so. So you have to find the file, but it usually is recorded. Let me go through these. Okay, so Nikki Redpath records it on the watch, but then discards it when she saved Zwift. That's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah, so Victoria broadcasts heart rate and starts the watch, but then just discards it afterwards. But see, the thing about the Garmin is that because you get all these stats like your training load and things like that, the Zwift runs don't count towards that unless you record them on the watch. So if you're relying on your watch to tell you how well you're training, your Zwift runs are not going to be included unless you record them. So it's a real difficult decision to. I mean, I don't really use the watch. I use Strava or I use Garmin Connect Direct on the website or the app. But the watch itself, the hardware on the watch will only use the runs that are recorded on that watch to identify how hard you're working. So if most of your runs are on Zwift and they never actually get to your watch, your watch doesn't know your true fitness level. Paul Haywood is also a discarder. Yeah, records the run on the watch, and then as long as it all goes onto Zwift OK, he discards the run. John Farrell says, I record on both, but I think that's why the Bluetooth steals my HRM. Yes, probably. You probably want to record the heart rate on your watch in Ant Plus, and then use Zwift for Bluetooth. So Bluetooth for Zwift and Ant Plus for your watch, I would say. Denise only wears her watch when running, but she says everyone's making very good points about why to wear it more often. Right, Sebastian Vaughton has decided he's going to try and wear his watch for 7 days, 24/7. Oh, his Apple Watch. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, Stephen Davies says, I have a 935 and I don't wear it all the time. Do you have a watch that you do wear all the time, or it says good points about wearing 24/7. We'll try going forward. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in stats, if you're a bit of a stats geek, then you will get much better information if you wear it 24/7. There'll be a lot more data for you to look at if you like looking at data. Right, so Trev Wilson says, so even if through Zwift it uploads to Garmin Connect, does it ignore that data for stats? On the watch, yes. So you will, if you look at your watch data and you look at the data that you get on Garmin Connect on the website or on the app, they will be different. So your training load, for example, it is likely different if you do a lot of runs on Zwift, but you don't record them on the watch. Your watch will have a different idea of how fit you are to Garmin Connect. I wonder if I can give you an example of that somehow. No. Your watch that you're wearing, right? That has different data on it to the Garmin app that you upload your runs to. Because your Zwift runs, if you just record them on Zwift, they'll go from Zwift to your Garmin app, yeah, on your phone, but they won't go to your watch. Or at least, well, you'll be able to see that you've done a Zwift run on your watch, but the data won't be used on your watch to measure your training load and any runs that you've done on the watch. Right, Trev Wilson says, I never realised that. That's why I'm showing 58. What do you mean your fitness age? Well, your fitness age is only... Now, actually, that's an interesting thing. Your fitness age... I think your fitness age will be the same, because I think that is ported, that is synced from your Garmin app to your watch. But I think your training load is going to be different. Let me see if I can see an example. Right. Okay, so Victoria started the wear your watch 24/7 trend. I think other people were probably wearing their watches 24/7 before Victoria. Jason Mitchell says, how about getting the Garmin Index 2 scales? Yeah, we do have some scales, but they're really cheap ones. But they do give us lots of data. But yeah, they're called Renfo scales. But if you get the Garmin scales, of course, they will, every time you weigh yourself, they'll give you a whole load more data as well. Not just your weight, but your body mass index, your non-fat body weight, saturated fat, what are the other things it gives you? Oh, loads of extra data. Right, Trev Wilson says he's never been fitter and he's 52. Probably the same as me, Trev. I'm 52, and I would say, although I've had a bit of a lull around Christmas, I would say I'm generally fitter than I've ever been. Yeah. I've got a little bit of weight on at the moment that I need to get rid of. Well, okay, I was fitter when I was 51 then. Is that what you're saying? I couldn't do a sub-3 marathon at the moment, no. But in general, I think overall, you know, my fitness is better than it has been in the last 20 years, let's say. Amy has fallen out of love with her scales. It must have told her something she didn't like. Have you only just fallen out of love with it after Christmas? Is that the truth? Yeah, Victoria says she's got the same problem as well. I think I have as well. I don't like my scales at the moment. Victoria says that the bathroom scales are dead to us at the moment. To be honest, when I go overweight, I look at the scales more. So I'm actually going on the scales a lot more recently because I know I'm overweight and I'm trying to get my weight down again. Victoria says she's too frightened to stand on them. Right, Amy fell out of love with her scales about 6 months ago. You did have a little period though, Amy, didn't you, where you didn't love running very much and you dropped off a bit. So probably that's it. And then now you're kind of back with it again. Maybe you should try those scales again because they might say something you like this time. Right, Clive Finnemore is ex-Royal Navy and he is now fitter than he's ever been. What does that say? Right, either that says something about training on Zwift or it says something about Royal Navy training. And I'm not sure I like what answer it's going to be. Yeah. If there's a war, God help us. Because they've been through the training that Clive Finnemore went through. Christ almighty. No, I'm sure Royal Marine training. No, I'm sure Royal Marine training is very, very good indeed. It's just that Zwift training is better. You see, it's better. Oh no, good joke, John. John Farrell says my scales say one at a time, please. Brilliant, I like it. Hello, Miguel. Miguel wants to say hello to Victoria.
Hello, Miguel. Very good beats at the rate you're running. Thank you. I'm actually quite consistent, but I'm running with wrist-based heart rate. Fine. But it actually seems quite accurate tonight. No spikes seen. It feels a nice, comfortable pace for a recovery run.
If you're using Zwift on a computer, a PC or a Mac, you can press the G key on the keyboard and that will make your bottom graph appear and disappear. See on the screen there? It's disappeared. Press G and it appears. So that's heart rate and pace there. You can see basically Victoria's heart rate and pace have remained the same, consistent throughout the run so far. We are 7.28 kilometres in. And so Victoria is going to do 10k today, running at 9.5 kilometres now. She'll be done in about, to take a whole hour and 3 minutes, let's say, to do it. So nice and easy, nice and comfortable. Zone 2 running, just building up the aerobic base. We have Paris Marathon coming up on April the 3rd. Victoria is hoping to try for another sub-4 marathon. She's already done one, so she knows how to do it. Just whether she can get her fitness back and do it again. But the good thing is that when we're out there in Paris, there will be a lot of other Zwifters who are heading for 4 hours. That's another question I'll ask the group, actually. So I've just typed how many other Zwifters will be trying for a sub-4 at Paris or Copenhagen. Oh yes, I saw that you did, Amy. Thank you very much for watching that. If you haven't seen it, we made a video of Victoria's last Paris marathon where she went under 4 hours. 26 minutes off her PB. But I don't think we can say that because you've never really tried very hard for a fast marathon, have you? That was your first proper attempt. Yeah. Paul Hayward has just come up with the same joke about the scales as John Farrell. Do your scales say one person at a time? What was that, Victoria? Right, Jamie Caesar is going for 3:45, but we'll be happy with anything sub-4. Kevin says, what target time are you going for a marathon? Laura says 3:55. Mick Cheney says 4:30. Said, is anyone going to try under 3:30? Trev Wilson says, I was going for sub-4 Manchester, but now away with work for all of March. Oh no. So Trev, if you're away with work for all of March, you can join us in Paris on April the 3rd. Yeah, get rid of Manchester Marathon. Who cares about that? Just come to Paris on April the 3rd. Perfect. Kevin DeLuca is going for 3:15 in Paris and a sub-4 in Copenhagen. Nice one. John Free says, my treadmill is showing heart rate, but I'm not wearing a heart rate strap. Who else is here? Right, admit it. Who else is in John Freeze's house with a heart rate strap on? Yeah. Brilliant. Amanda's going to pace Kevin to 3:15. Well done, Amanda. Hey, no, don't count it out, Amanda. You could do that if you trained hard. Amy Green says, would love a sub 4 one day. Amy, I'm sure you can get it. I'm sure you could. If you ran a marathon now, what do you think you would get? John Farrell wants to get under 1:30 for the Great North Run. If you don't know, the Great North Run is a half marathon, the biggest half marathon in the UK. Not quite the biggest one in the world. There is one in Sweden, I think, which is bigger. No, the Great South Run is 10 miles. The Great North Run is a half marathon. Oh no, John Farrell did it once in 1 hour 30 and 6 seconds. 6 seconds. That is annoying, isn't it? Okay, so your PB is 4:47. Have you ever properly trained for like a 12-week or a 16-week training block up to a marathon? Because I think if you did the solid training, then I reckon you could do it. Remember, you have run 100 miles in 24 hours. Regardless of how good or bad your treadmill was, it was there or that. You ran for 24 hours and you ran around about 100 miles in 24 hours. So that means that you have the fitness, the stamina, the potential to run a sub 4-hour marathon. I'm convinced of it. Yeah. She says, I've never properly trained for one, so maybe if I followed an actual plan. Exactly, yes. Yeah, Stockholm Marathon is a nice one in Sweden, says Daniel, from DIY Tech Repairs up on YouTube. I think, is it Stockholm that's got about 50,000 people? No, I'm thinking of the half marathon. There's a half marathon, I think, in Sweden, which is the biggest one in the world. Over 50,000 people take part. Amanda, Chamonix will be absolutely amazing. You will absolutely love it. Amanda, remind us what you're doing. I think she's doing the Mont Blanc Marathon. Yeah. Kevin says, for 2022, the schedule is about full for him. But in 2023, he's going to go to the USA and do a marathon. Which USA? Jamie Caesar is going to join Kevin in whichever US marathon he decides to do. Gothenburg. Okay, Gothenburg half marathon, says Daniel, is between 40 and 60,000 people. Yeah. Gothenburg half. That's it. She's doing the Cross de Mont Blanc, 23 kilometres. So Amanda Allison is going to Chamonix. She's doing a race called the Cross de Mont Blanc 23-kilometre race. I think that's part of the same weekend of the marathon. Yeah, we have two favourite cafes in Mont Blanc, Alison, if you want to go to them. Both as you walk up the side. One is very near the top of the the other one, top of the cable car. Yeah, so if you go to the top of if you go from the town up to the first cable car station, it's very near there. It's not the one in the cable car station. You have to go down, and there's a view, beautiful views. And then the other one is you walk towards the ice caves, and it's kind of halfway up the hill as you walk towards the ice caves. That's two beautiful cafes. I wonder if I can get photos of them up on Zwift. I wonder if I can stand in front there and use that phone. Maybe not. So, you have right. So you have been there before, then. So you know it, right? Bear with me 1 second. Right. So no, it's not going to work, is it? No, because I've got the camera angles on, so it's just typing nonsense. Right, Kevin is approaching the end with his 10 kph group. We are at 9.1 kilometres. Let's quickly, before Kev finishes, let's drop some ride-ons. So there's Kev's group. There's Jamie Caesar. Herzog. And who else have we got? Right, and Paul Haywood and Clive Finnimore and Paul Deering. Well done, guys. Trev Wilson, Sebastian. And Kev's just crossing the line, and Clive Finnimore will get the beacon. And we've got 500 metres left to run. So 3 minutes to go. 1 hour and 3 minutes of running. Thank you very much for the chat, everyone. And thank you for taking part. Always good to see so many runners joining us for the combined run. Film My Run, Zwift Long Distance Runners, Make Humanity Great Again, and PACK all together every Monday, 6:30, showing the community of Zwift in action. Thank you, John. John says, well done, Victoria. Sham says, good music on Twitch. Thank you. Steve Davis says he's probably not going to do a spring marathon. Angela says, thank you for sharing the run with us. So we'll be back live tomorrow at 11:35 a.m. UK time. That's 12:35 over in Europe. That's nice and early in the morning on the east coast of America, and in the dead of night if you're over in the west coast. Over in California, you'll still be asleep, no doubt. Although we have seen Kim Salt occasionally comment when she gets up in the morning, because Kim Salt gets up very early. And then we'll be back tomorrow evening, 6:30 UK time, 7:30 European time, for the Paris Marathon training session. It's an interval session on Tuesdays. This will be our second one. Victoria and me will be doing that. So hashtag no screens for Victoria tomorrow. Victoria will not have a screen tomorrow, but we will be doing 1 hour of intervals tomorrow. Yeah, Clive says, see you tomorrow for the Paris Marathon training session. Mount Fuji in the distance there. Ride-ons dropping everywhere. Thank you very much, everyone, for taking part. Thank you for watching. Nearly there. Heart rate has been steady throughout, so 127, 128. Good, solid aerobic training run. Oh, you're 9.98, Victoria. Did you go through the finish line? No, look, the finish line's there, look. Victoria's stopped before the finish line. Look at that. She's annoyed with herself now. What said 10? Oh, yes, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. That's annoying. Yeah. So it ticked over to 10 kilometres before we actually hit the finish line. Paul Hayward says correctly, low-tech paper to work out the splits for tomorrow's interval session. Yeah, it's paperwork tomorrow. Amy says thank you both. Kev DeLuca, thank you Stephen and Victoria for joining us. No worries. Every Monday, we should be here unless something disastrous happens. We should be here to bring you the Zwift community run live on a Monday. Thank you very much everybody for watching. Well done to Victoria for doing that. I didn't quite have the legs for it today. I did run this morning. Was going to do this evening, but just decided at the last minute maybe I just need to slowly get myself back into distance rather than do a marathon and then do 20k a couple of days later. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, could you press? Hang on. Oh, no, don't worry about it. See you all tomorrow.
Thank you for watching. Bye.